guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. That's from a guy. He is 39 years old, he is a father, and he is or was at one time a passport bro. And he's writing in to share his story to make it abundantly clear that just because you do the passport bro thing doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a gal, your dream girl, or a so-called unicorn, or that she's going to be super feminine and traditional, all that. No, because at the end of the day, regardless of where you are in the world, even if it's in more traditional areas where women haven't been infected by feminism, at the end of the day, women are women and they're going to do and respond to the same things they do anywhere in the world. So you could end up with a gal that maybe in her area, a lot of women are traditional, good things that guys would want here in the West, but just depending on who she is, well, it doesn't matter. Or if men do things they do here that definitely do things that turn women off, they can have the same situation regardless if she is a super feminine girl and has the qualities that you like. And he learns this the hard way, unfortunately. However, there's a silver lining because eventually he gets rid of this chick. So it's definitely a lesson out there for the guys that say, okay, I'm in the West. I do want a family one day. I'm going to go overseas to find a girl. Well, he's setting the record straight here across the board. And he definitely does a lot of things that most certainly deserves a lot of smacks. I'm going to do that, but he's sharing his story. He has the guts to share his story to help some dudes out. So we're going to hear his story and also learn a few things along the way that many of you know, but I'm going to reinforce. So he says here, hello SSM. Oh yeah, by the way, if you haven't done already, come check me out on X, formerly Twitter. The handle is SSM Channels. He says, hello SSM. I hope this email finds you well. I've been a subscriber for several years now and have watched countless videos for both entertainment and to learn, and have refreshed many, if not most of I've recommended and referred many, if not most of my friends to your channel. Whether they subscribed or watched any of the videos, I do not know, but they at least are aware of you. Well, brother, I appreciate you watching all these years, and I really appreciate you recommending me to your friends. But the odds are your friends aren't going to watch because they probably figure, hey, I know everything. And yet probably their dating life, relationship life, marriages suck. I'm writing this email to you to give a different side of the whole passport bro movement that has become quite popular in recent years, especially in North America. For the sake of the story, you can call me Seth. I'm a 39-year-old male living in Europe, and I moved here over 15 years ago, shortly before the passport bro movement really took off. Many aspects of this story give a perfect example of the things you constantly tell your viewers not to do. And looking back, I was just foolish. But hindsight is 2020. Yeah, man, exactly. I mean, countless times, guys, even the most successful guys that have their lives together, make mistakes. And you can either keep making mistakes or you learn from them. Or you can do the world a service by sharing your mistakes to help guys learn not to do that as well. So good for you. It says here, I was born in North America, and I lived there for most of my life, moving from one city to another and never really settling down. I had my fair share of girlfriends, flings, and the like in my youth, but none of them ever panned out to be long-lasting. Nonetheless, when I was younger, I was a relationship guy. Not so much now. Well, brother, after what you share with us, I can see why you're not. Another important note to make is that I'm a gamer. I enjoy online games, and while this might not be everyone's cup of tea, it's my way of relaxing. To me, nothing is more soothing than letting out my frustration and blowing up virtual things. It tends to go over better with the authorities than the alternative. Well, you could also, if you were here in the States, you can go to a rifle range. That'll definitely blow off some steam. Or hit a gym. There's a way to blow off some steam. Hint, hint. It was one of those online games that I met a young woman, and for the sake of the story, we will call her Nicole. Okay, here we go. Remember, he said that he did a lot of flings and things like that when he was younger, so to him, whatever. Well, when we first met in the virtual world of online gaming, we both were playing at the time. I showed little to no interest in her, which, as you know, drives women crazy, and she was no exception. Indifference, guys. It's amazing how powerful that is, particularly with a girl that is used to getting attention all the time. Nicole, despite having a boyfriend in real life, had many men in the online game that wanted to date her. No, they didn't want to date her. They want to do something else with the letter D. I put date in quotation marks for reasons you can likely figure out with ease. Nicole wanted to spend time with me in the online game, and while I was indifferent, I didn't push her away either. This was the beginning of a train ride that led me to where I am now. For the next part, I'll give a timeline of the events as they are quite important, and I admit, make me look like a biggest simp of the year. Or of that year. Yeah, dude. Now I want to point something out here. So, I'm 47. And I had my time period of playing video games and all that when I was a kid, and in my teenage years with some buddies, and I pretty much that tapered off when I was in my early 20s, and it's obviously very big now. The way I see it, I just don't understand that, but that's okay, because I'm getting older, but hey, there's a lot of guys that love it. But in my opinion, the way I see it, if you got things going on in your life, you got a good career or business, and you're doing well at, you're growing it, you take care of yourself, you hit the gym, you got a social life, I got no problem sometime doing the online gaming thing, which a lot of guys like to do, or whatever. Seriously. My problem with the whole thing is when guys have no life, have no job, or a crappy job, they're not trying to better themselves in some capacity, don't get any exercise, don't get out, and then they're online playing online games all the time. That's where I take issue with. I know I've mentioned this in the past. Sometimes people didn't quite get what I was coming at with that. I've ruffled some feathers in my opinions, and, it is what it is. But as long as you got shit going on for your life, okay, there's some time for that. But if you don't have shit going on, you're playing fucking games all the time, come on, guys. But anyhow, again, it's not my thing, but I know a lot of people enjoy it. Just because I don't get it doesn't mean I can't, appreciate the people. It's a fun pastime. There, I said it because it always comes up. Anyway, here we go with Nicole, the girl I met in the virtual world, which I don't get. Nicole and I really started hanging out in August of 2009, and it was shortly after that she admitted she wanted to date me. Up until that point, it was mostly indifferent to her. How is she going to date you? Are you in the same freaking neighborhood? Are you within an hour's distance? Or is she another part of the world? What the fuck? And by the way, didn't you say she has a boyfriend? Somebody's monkey branching here is a cheater. Now, there are two key points here. Firstly, she had a boyfriend in real life, which I told her I would not date her unless she broke up with him, as I didn't want to be that guy, the ones. Yeah, exactly. While it could be argued that she was emotionally cheating with me at the time, she was most definitely monkey branching, and I wasn't about to be the one of the type of guys who gets in some kind of secret long-distance relationship with a gal who already had a boyfriend. Well, good for you. I mean, if you're playing the games and you're, talking on it, that's one thing, as opposed to, actively flirting and all that. But even then, frankly, she shouldn't be doing that with other guys, and that says a lot about her character. And that boyfriend of hers shouldn't allow that. Nicole agreed to break up with her boyfriend in October 2009. We officially started dating. Guess it was a long-distance relationship. Here we go. Smack. Dude, is there no other girls in your area? I know Western girls are a giant pain in the ass and all that, but still, I'm sure you could have found somebody. Long distance. And by the way, with the girl that had no problem obviously showing interest in you, monkey branching through the virtual world, whatever, if you will, while she had a boyfriend. What makes you think she's not going to do the same thing to you when she gets bored with you, or her needs aren't being met, or whatever? It's not rocket science. That was the climax of the story. I wouldn't have titled the email the way I did. But things go from bad to abysmal incredibly quickly, and I have no one to blame but myself. Well, I'm glad you can admit that. Once Nicole and I began dating, we decided that long distance wasn't for us, and we wanted to be together for real, which isn't a bad thing if done right. Well, yeah, if done right. But you don't do it right. He says, spoiler, I did not do it right. He says, SSM, you've given countless warnings to many men to never move in with your girl, but instead to have them move in with you, and I entirely agree. Not to mention, you always say only move in together as a final test to see if you want to get married. Yes, gentlemen, there's no reason to live with your girl unless you want to get freaking married, and it's the final test. It doesn't mean the test is going to work, okay? But you can likely see a lot of red flags once you move in with a girl, And I might add, again, guys, I know I'm interrupting the story, and I drive some of you fucking nuts when I do that, but we're here to learn shit. If you're going to move in with her, either do one of the following. Either she moves into your place, your turf, or you guys pick out a place together, and it's a new place for both of you. Do not I repeat, do not move to her place, her house, her apartment, her neck of the woods, whatever. That is a recipe for disaster. And many of you guys have seen and heard this. Why? Because in her perspective, you're chasing her. She has the leverage. It's her place, her turf. You don't believe me? There's a lot of stories that prove that this leads to a disaster. And let's see if I'm right. Well, not only did I move in with her, but I left my home country to be with her. Yes, you heard that right. Smack! You moved across the world to another country to be with some chick you haven't even met yet? Haven't slept with yet? Unless you're telling me that she's traveled to sea many times in the USA and you hooked up and it was the best punani you ever had and she's got boobs and ass that just, and even then I wouldn't allow this. In February 2010, I left North America and flew to Europe to be with a girl I hadn't even known, let alone been dating a year. Smack! Let's see how this turns out. He says, cue the supernova slap of the month. Things get more interesting from there as I had packed up my whole life and moved to Europe to be with a girl I hardly knew. Think about this, guys, from her perspective. In her mind, holy crap, this guy had never even met me. We haven't slept together, and he's packing up all his crap, changing his whole life to come to my country and be with me? What a loser. How desperate is he? Seriously, that's how they think. No joke. In movies, it makes it all like romantic. In real life, they're like, ugh. He must have nothing else going on in his life. We began living together, and here comes the icing on the cake. We agreed that neither of us wanted me to leave. So in March 2010, we went to the Capitol Courthouse and got married, which allowed me to stay in the country under the premise that I was married to someone who was a citizen of that country. Smack! My shoulders sore from lifting last night, otherwise I'd be smacking you more, so I'm using these slaps sparingly here. You fucking married her? Let's see how that works out. So to summarize, not only did I make the biggest bonehead move ever by moving across the world to move in with this woman, but I married her not after knowing her a year. This is where I'll skip forward a bit to save some time and details, which aren't important. I'll instead stick to the important ones. No, I'm gonna interrupt here again because I have to do it. What the fuck were you thinking? Did you not have family or friends say, what the fuck were you thinking? Are you out of your mind? Really, dude? Again, she couldn't have been that beautiful in the pictures. And then you got there. She couldn't have been that beautiful or great in the sack and all that. My God. But again, our guy who's brave enough to share his screw-ups, and I respect that. Well, we had 2 children together, 2 boys who are the single most important things in my life. As long as they are your boys, that's great. Congratulations. I watched them grow over the years, and nothing makes me prouder than to hear about their accomplishments. Nicole and I, however, did not last, as you no doubt guessed. No, shocker. We were married for 3.5 years before divorcing. Well, it didn't take long to have a couple kids. Please tell me they're yours. I truly do hope they're yours. Looking back, I know what I did was wrong. As I said, hindsight is 20/20. But at the same time, I wouldn't change a thing, as many of these harsh lessons I had to learn, and now as a result of having 2 amazing boys. Well, again, man, if you learned the hard way, and you did this when you were young, because obviously you were young when it happened, and you got great boys that, again, are yours, please, dear God, they're yours, then okay. At least you divorced her. That's the good part. If you were going to tell me you're still married to her miserable, I know. The whole video would be me smacking you. To summarize, as I said, I want to give this warning to men who are thinking about moving to foreign countries to find women to either date or marry. Take it from someone who did the extreme sports version of it. Be careful. Like SSM has said countless times, vet your girls. Get to know them, date them, court them, and find out if the women from China, Japan, the Philippines, Scotland, Ireland, wherever is in fact who she says she is. Just because you're outside North America does not mean that you won't be caught off guard by sudden bouts of shit testing or your girl screaming at you for leaving the toilet seat up. As SSM has said, women are women no matter where you go. Truer words have never been spoken, so be careful. Thanks for reading my story, SSM. In the immortal words of Leonard Nimoy, live long and prosper, my friend. Well, yes, brother, you live long and prosper. And thank you for sharing your story. Now, I got to point something out here. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to say. He went to Europe to meet this chick. Usually the passport bros go to Eastern Europe or Southeast Asia, Philippines, I guess that region of the world, where more than likely the gals are more traditional cultures, more feminine, all that. I'm guessing he went to Western Europe, which pretty much, even in 15 years ago, is a lot more like, here in the USA. So obviously the odds are more in your favor for Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia and places like that. There's no fucking guarantee, but just still. So if you're looking for, Western cultures like in Europe, Western Europe, or Australia, or New Zealand, I've heard plenty of train wreck stories. I've also been told a lot of more traditional gals in South America and stuff like that, Central America. That's what I've been told. So guys, if you're going to do this, at least go where statistically it's more in your favor. But even if you go to places that are statistically more in your favor, that, the women are more traditional, haven't been infected by the disease called feminism, that if you behave in a way that will turn, obvious behavior, acting like a simp, you will turn these women off, even the good ones. And if you're lucky, they'll just dump you. If worse, they'll do much more. Or you can go to this traditional part of the world, have your shit together, but you can still get some gal that's going to behave like some of the nut jobs over here. So it's a gamble. So there's no guarantee about the passport bro thing being successful. So there you go. But anyhow, guys, lots of lessons in this story. Don't do long-distance relationships. Don't freaking travel across the world to meet some girl and be in a relationship with her. You don't even know her. Don't get married after a year. I mean, I can go on and on here. So this story, it ends on a high note. At least he got rid of her, and he learned his lesson, and obviously he's very happy with his boys. Please, dear God, they're his boys. But he's sharing this that you guys can hopefully learn. Every once in a while, guys, I got to do a video that, where a guy, he's demonstrating through his actions what not to do. Because otherwise, let's be honest, the majority of guys make mistakes. I made plenty of mistakes when I was younger. Fortunately, I learned from them, and that's where I am today to share these stories and smack the shit out of guys that aren't quite there yet. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you got a good story to share, definitely send it my way. strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's a good story, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.